What's up, it's George the Fragrance Apprentice here, and this autumn I have been collecting fragrances for 4 years. That's quite an incredible amount of time. Now, you learn a lot of things when you're not just a fragrance collector but a collector of anything. There are a lot of different emotional and psychological hoops that you have to go through, and a lot of lessons, a lot of harsh lessons that you actually have to learn. Being a collector of anything is quite hard. It's quite an interesting challenge. It's not just all fun. You've got to be constantly wary of the market, whether you're being scammed, different financial factors. And not just that, but you've got to be concerned with yourself. And what I mean by that is that your perception is usually completely at odds with the things that are being projected to you. But one of the biggest things with being a collector of anything, one of the biggest things that can whet your appetite or can change your perception or even sometimes delude you, is the perception of something that is rare. Now, that's something that I want to talk about today, but the main factor of this review is Escada Magnetism. One of the most rare designer fragrances out on the market today, and I own a 100ml bottle. So let's get into it. Okay, so which brings me pretty candidly to would you like this? Now, at this point, I'm not saying that Escada Magnetism is a bad fragrance and it's simply that all the hype around it is because it's rare. No, I want to actually just try and tackle Escada Magnetism from a more objective standpoint, because I'm fighting myself as well. I mean, I fought very long and hard to try and find and get this because it's a rare item, and I'm thinking to myself, would I put as much effort into getting this if it wasn't? And I think that the answer realistically is no. So would you like this? One of the biggest things is if you're a collector. You're the kind of person who collects fragrances and you want to have a rare fragrance, and you kind of somewhat want to boast about the fact that you have rare fragrances in your collection. By the way, did I mention that I have Escada Magnetism 100ml? And Mitza, from an objective standpoint, what I'd say to you is that this is a very unique fragrance. It's definitely, there's no argument with that. It's one of the most unique fragrances that you could ever smell. So if you're looking for something that is, especially if it's something unique in the designer game, this is definitely something that you should look for. But in an environmental sense, in a personality type of sense, I'd say if you're a fun kind of guy, but you have a bit of an edge to you as well. If you're a bit of a kind of like a bad boy, but who also, you know, enjoys just like, you know, has quite a bubbly personality, I could see somebody like that wearing this. Clubbing, night clubbing, going out, this is one of the most unique fragrances for that in the game. So the presentation for Escada Magnetism is pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to knock marks off because it doesn't look as good as some of the newer bottles. I mean, for Christ's sake, Escada Magnetism for men was released in 2004. Do you remember 2004? It was 11 years ago at the date of this recording. Over a decade ago. It's been discontinued for ages. So it's very of the time. This is definitely a bottle that came out in 2004, let me tell you. So it's of the time. It's good. It's interesting. I'd say it's a bit generic. It's good. I do enjoy having it in the cabinet. I do enjoy putting it out for show, but it's not anything miraculous or mesmerizing. So I'd give this honestly a 7 out of 10 for presentation. So the presentation is interesting, but of course this is all about the scent. Now, as I said, Escada Magnetism is a very, very unique scent. It's a leather and saffron based scent, so that's pretty interesting for a designer, especially back in the early noughties. So I have Escada Magnetism sprayed on here. This has been going for about an hour. I'm going to spray on some fresh juice on it, and we're going to see. Now, this is a very interesting fragrance. There's not a lot of notes, so I'm actually going to give you more visual representations of what's going on, but there is a lot going on. There's 3 initial stages. Here's the sprayer for you, by the way. Good sprayer, really good sprayer, wow. So the first thing that people have always said about this fragrance is it reminds them of cherry coke. Now, I do get that, but what I really get is crayons. So I call a first stage cherry coke crayons. You get a blast of amber and saffron. Saffron is the real main note in this. Now at this point I want to say that there's something fruity going on. I do want to say that it's something like cherry or raspberry, but it's more likely that it's the saffron. But I'll put something on there just to kind of show you and give you what's going on. Saffron, the fruity accord, which nobody really knows what that is, the amber, and tucked away is this leather undertone. The leather is at the base, the leather is the thing that sort of keeps it all together. It's very warming, it's very unique, and it has a pastoral, like crayons. There's just crayons going on here, which gives it a real balsamic feel. Really, really interesting. It doesn't smell unpleasant, but it definitely smells unique and good. Now, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. I'm kind of sort of take it or leave it, really. I think it's interesting, I think it's unique, but it's not, there is not necessarily a blandness, but there is a bleakness to it, I'd say. There isn't something as engaging as I'd like it to be. But it's good, it's interesting, it's very good. So we get to stage 2, which I call the saffron spike, and this is where things actually are very interesting for me. This is where the saffron completely blooms out, the amber, all the other notes, all the other things in the composition just completely take a bit backseat, and you get this quite real, quite genuine saffron note, and almost, I'd say, suede as well. I'd say saffron, then more like suede. We're going into more the territory, actually, of Golden Boy than anything else. Golden Boy has a almost kind of like a plasticky kind of suede kind of thing going on, and that's what I can smell here in the second stage. It's this is it. This is good. This is interesting. This is something that if you sweat or if you're in a hot club, this will definitely get you attention and get you noticed. So very good. And then the third stage is the oddest. This is by far the most bizarre. It smells. We aren't quite there yet with this, but we're getting there. After about 3 to 4 hours, it smells like dried wine. Have you ever spilled wine on something, like red wine on something, and then I don't know, when it's all dried and you get the aroma from it, so it isn't that sort of wet liquidy wine. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean? Like wine after it's been oxygenated for a while. And it's dried up. That's what actually it smells like, but with kind of like a saffron thing going on as well. Now this is very unique, and I wish that was actually more out there. I wish that would go on longer, because it is interesting. It does smell nice. It doesn't completely smell like dried wine, because it has other things like the leather and the suede and all that kind of stuff, which gives it kind of like a masculine, pungent, perfumier kind of push. But it's very unique and it's very interesting. So yeah, a very unique scent, a very unique fragrance. So the rating is the difficult part, and this is the thing that I was alluding to earlier. Do I personally think that, like some people would have you believe that this is some kind of designer masterpiece, and maybe they're right, I don't know, but I just don't see it. Okay, I don't think that this is a lost, forgotten, hidden gem, a hidden relic of the designer elite or whatever. I don't see it. I think that it's a very good, very interesting, and very unique designer fragrance. But do I think that it's an eclectic masterpiece of niche proportions? No, I don't. And the thing is I think that Escada Magnetism has kind of been skewed in that realm because it got discontinued and it got rare. So cut to the chase, George, what's your final rating? I'd say that my final rating is 7 out of 10, actually. I think it's really good, it's really great, but it's it can be a bit bland and it can be somewhat limiting. One of the fantabulous things that I would say about this fragrance is the projection. Really good, the performance in general, actually. I mean, you would want this to be a clubbing scent, so you'd have to assume that the performance would be also very good. Projection is great, get a good space around you, people smell you all over the place, people when I've been sitting down at tables and things like that, the whole table has been able to smell me. People have asked me, people have noticed it. Always, it's never been exactly a compliment getter, but so usually like the comments I get are like, oh, is that a new fragrance that you wear? Not like, oh damn, you smell awesome. That's like, oh, that's interesting, that's unique. But yeah, people can definitely smell you all around. No problems with projection, 8 out of 10. Not beast mode, but it doesn't need to be, it doesn't want to be beast mode, but 8 out of 10, that's a really, really good figure, and a really good solid figure, so that's great. Longevity, literally the same. I'd say about 12 hours on my skin. Yeah, why not? Definitely. It declines, and it declines projection way to the point where about 8 hours it's not a skin scent, but it's definitely still there. But yeah, I actually get 12 hours out of this. It's really good. So very, very happy with the performance overall. So my final take with Escada Magnetism is that of somewhat disappointment. I think it's just a personal preference of mine with my life. There are a number of people who would tell you that this is it's like on Fragranticon and on base notes especially, which did surprise me, that this is like a bona fide masterpiece kind of thing. And for some people this will be, definitely if you're into like old school heavy hitters from the 80s and things like that, you know who I'm talking about, then actually, and I would love to see a review from him on this. Yeah, I think that this would be good for that kind of thing. But for me, I don't know, I didn't quite get it. I wasn't quite in tune with it, and I think there's better stuff, to be completely honest. I think there's better stuff for this, and on eBay and things like that, this is like 76 quid or whatever, and if you just simply aren't into this kind of thing, this is just not going to be for you. So it has quality, and it's a unique designer fragrance, definitely, but with regards to kind of like the leather, saffron, fruity kind of thing, I think there's stuff that does it better. So that's my open opinion and open review on this. I hope you got the information that you're looking for. So there you go. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. Hope you enjoyed the review. Subscribe to see more Fragrance Apprentice antics and reviews. And until next time, I'm the Fragrance Apprentice, and I'm out.